Welcome to another edition of the Average Pastor Podcast. I'm Mark here with my pastor friends, Jeff and Jake, and we're back out on the fire porch, having a good time, just talking about whatever we're going to talk about. Jake always, every time, without fail, Jake tries to get a little preview of what we're talking about. He's like, so what are we talking about this morning? I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't even ask anymore.
By preview, like 5 seconds before we start recording.
He wants a 5-second
Prep time.
You know, so, yeah, how are you guys doing? Yeah, you guys doing all right?
Yeah, doing well.
Good. It's, how's it feel being back out on the fire porch, Jake?
I love the space. Yeah, it's great.
It's good.
Yeah.
You feel like we're back in our natural habitat where we belong.
Totally.
My daughter, I shouldn't even said daughter because it kind of gives away. But
you got more than one. Just narrowed it down.
Yeah, you didn't say her name.
That's right.
Who could possibly guess?
Who could guess? I was like, so I asked her to clean the kitchen and she did it. And she's like, did you see the kitchen? And I was like, yeah, it was great. You did a great job. And she's like, well, you didn't say thank you. And I was like, well, you did what you were supposed to do and you did a good job. And so good job. And she's like, no, I want to hear thank you. And I was like, well, the thing is you did what you were supposed to do. And yeah, I could say thank you, but also that's your chore and stuff. So then I tried to compare it to, I said, well, when I preach a sermon, you don't come up to me afterwards every time I do my job and say, thank you. And she's like, well, because I know what you do. I know what I know your sermon prep. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, all you ever do is go over to Jeff's fire porch and hang out. And so apparently in her mind, this is all we do.
Work. This is all we do for work.
And it's certainly not worthy of a thank you. So
yeah, right. Nobody should say thank you for what we're doing right now.
This would be, if this was our full-time job, I could live with that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So, but yeah, I had to tell you guys this. So I was, came across my Instagram feed. Nate Bargatze's got a new TV show called The Greatest Average American. And the tagline is, where being average is your greatest advantage.
Really?
Yeah. He literally said that.
I've seen his stand, The Greatest Average American or The Greatest American or something.
Is that a stand-up or does he have
it's
part of his stand-up?
Yeah, he's got, I think that's a title of one of his stand-up.
Really?
Mark, I've already got the cease and desist out. We're not gonna let him get away with this.
Don't let him get away with this. No,
you're saying it's a book that he's come out with?
No, my book is called The Advantage of Average.
I've heard of that one. What's the Bargatze thing?
So it's a TV show, and his TV show. Which, hold on a second, I got to get this thing off. It's like
I'm dying over here.
It's rubbing. Here, help me out, Jeff.
Oh yeah, sorry.
There we go. It's like a kid trying to get out of his coat. It's rubbing on my headphones.
Like it's a network TV show?
Yeah.
James, what channel is it on?
Is it a Hulu thing or something? The Greatest Average American.
Yeah, it looks like Netflix. Okay. I'm playing the first episode.
Oh, now we're gonna
it's out. It's a TV show that's out.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
No, I think I pulled up the special. Yeah, he's got a special called The Greatest Average
Is that
American.
the one he's doing outside?
Yeah, that one's in 2021. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I think there's
he does a stand-up bit outside because it was around COVID stuff, and it's hilarious because he's got to stop while planes fly overhead. But
Yes.
Funny.
No,
That's
I
good.
think this is a game show or something. And
Okay, new ABC game show hosted by Nate Bargatze, premiering on February 25th.
nice. Okay, so it's coming out. This is a promo for the show, I guess. But so yeah, it's and his line is like, where being average is your greatest advantage.
we should try to get Mark on that show.
Oh yes, or Nate on this show.
Well, actually,
What do we have
so
better chances at?
I sent him a couple books. I'm like, one for you, one for your dad, and I said basically like, no, I saw this promo for your thing. That's the title of the book. that I wrote a few years ago, and it's like Average Minds Think Alike. And I invited him to our podcast.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
so we'll see.
Well,
Could you imagine?
Let's keep everybody updated every podcast. We haven't heard from Nate yet. We're still holding out.
Maybe our followership will just inundate him, and his
Yes.
agent or whatever.
Everybody just
Get on
bombard Nate Bargatze.
Yes.
To get him on our
Make this
Could it be a
happen.
part of every title to get more viewers, like the Average Pastor podcast, possibly with Nate Bargatze?
Maybe featuring
Maybe
Nate Bargatze?
featuring. Yeah.
It could happen.
My favorite part of this game show, I'm looking up the info. Contestants are going to, they're competing to win a prize of $67,920, which is the average American salary. It's very specific.
That's great.
That's awesome. Well, I was thinking about that. So it would, I think if he ever came on the podcast, it would ruin all of our careers because we would get on the map and that would ruin us,
Oh,
because it would,
For sure.
right? We would become a big deal.
I don't know if that would
It would take a lot more than that.
just to be on the podcast. It would probably be the end of our careers in the sense that we had a good guest and they saw how pathetic we can.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's not going to launch anything.
It's
It may blow something
yeah,
up.
Okay, because it could definitely tank his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no
we
up-
would bring him down.
There's
He's
no
not bringing
upside.
us up.
Yeah, we would make him average again.
Speaking of game shows, Rudy, my youngest, we've watching Beast Games.
Oh yeah, did you watch last night's episode?
Yeah. And it's this
As
whole
opposed to the Olympics.
yeah. Once you've seen one figure skating, you've seen them all. There.
Through that. No, I'm not even arguing.
Although
with
it came up in this podcast a while ago, is curling. And I'll watch some curling. And I'm still holding out. Like,
you.
there is a Cedar Rapids curling club. I just say,
You
Yeah.
gotta do it.
Well,
But the Beast Game, we got into this like ethical discussion of when you're in a game and it's like you give your word, I won't take the money. Or
Yeah.
Is that an integrity issue, or you're like, it's a game? It's a game where the rules are you're supposed to try to maneuver so is deception okay in a game, or is it like that's a lack of integrity? You should have kept your word.
it's like playing mafia and saying you're not telling the truth, like questioning someone's integrity.
And you form
in
these
mafia.
alliances and these friendships, and it's like I can't go against them. And I'm like, you just met them a week ago. Like your family back home is like you turned down
So,
$1 million.
Jeff, have you seen this? So
Yeah.
in one, they put 5 people up there. They nominate 5 people. Each little team has to put a person up there, and they basically bribe them, and it goes up to $1 million. Will you take $1 million to eliminate 5 people from the game, keep yourself in, and win $1 million?
Well, that's how
Yeah.
it plays out. It'd be like taking you over here, and you just met Mark and I, and there's like, Jeff, we'll give you $1 million. It's yours. You can take it.
Right.
Or you can share it with 2 people you just met.
Wow.
And it's like this. It's like, well, I can't mistreat.
I feel like we need to appeal to Thomas Aquinas and the just war theory or something.
The interesting thing.
When is it okay to deceive? And when is
That's
it okay?
where we were talking about, because you like are forming a part of the game. You're forming your alliances, like who
Right.
you're with. Well, they surprised them the episode before, I think, and they brought in their families who they hadn't seen in a couple weeks or something. And this girl's talking to her dad, I think, telling her like, I passed up $1 million. And you can see on the dad's face, like, you did what? Like, and it's like,
I didn't raise you that way.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you just met these people, and it's like, so we had an interesting conversation on that.
I think that it's like war ethic kicks in. Like in Joshua, like Rahab,
Mhm.
deceiving, hiding the spies. Could you pull some of that out, or does that count?
I don't know. I was
It's
just wondering, like,
it's a game show.
if you're in a game
it's
show,
war, it's certain situations.
you've seen it. If you're in a game show and you said, I'm not going to take the whole $1 million, would you feel as a Christian, I should keep my word? Or would you feel like it's a game where part of the game is deception?
But then I
and
had
people-
this, Jake. I put myself in that very situation. I'm like, would I take the $1 million? And then I have to face the reality of coming back to the Average Pastor podcast and showing my face again with $1 million and knowing that I had totally just and on TV,
Yeah,
everyone can watch it.
People were thinking
Would
like,
you lose your
how can you?
credibility as a human?
But the dynamic of how could you let these people down? And I'm like, how do you go home and tell your wife?
Let your wife
Hey,
down.
yeah. Somebody gave me $1 million, but I gave $800,000 people you've never met before. We had it. And you would love them. And it was just like,
And
who
then
are
they
you?
turn around in another
But I kept my
episode
word.
and stab you in the back
Yeah.
or whatever.
And I came home with nothing. You know, I could have had $1 million, but I said no. You understand, right? Like,
Would Marcy punch you in the face, or would she be proud of you? Because I know I'd get slapped in the face. What were you thinking?
Marcy's so like watching it. It's, you know, she could offer you $10,000. I'd be like, take the money, like it's guaranteed
Right.
money.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm gonna win the $5 million, and you're like, probably not.
Yeah,
And now you could have had 10. You know, but
man, game show.
so you don't know if it's
Yeah.
like game show ethics.
Did you come to a conclusion? Like, would you take them? Would you lie? Would you lie to get the money?
We didn't come to a conclusion.
Okay,
I do
Yeah.
think some of it has to do with is the whole point of the game. Like everybody goes in knowing there's going to be a level of deception, trickery, because that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Because I still remember playing Monopoly with my brother-in-law, and
This is
all of a sudden
moment.
I see him pull, like, just looking around and sneaking like one of those $500 bills out from underneath the table. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
so
I'm like, I went it's a stupid
But-
game of Monopoly. I just went ballistic because the point
No.
of Monopoly isn't to deceive.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree,
like,
because that's
wait.
cheating. In
That's
this
cheating.
game, it's not cheating.
That's the
He's
point I'm
saying,
trying to make. Are there
here's-
games that
wait a
that's the intent?
second. In Monopoly, you can't hide your money.
I think he
That's-
took it from the bank.
Yeah,
and
you
it
can't
was-
rob the bank.
Oh,
You
he
can't-
robbed the bank and slid
Yeah.
it under.
Look, it's still
Okay,
a
that's-
little bit under litigation
that
at this
is
point. But
dirty.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I'm
He's
just
not
saying
here to represent
cheating-
himself.
Cheating
Yeah.
in a game that's not
Yeah.
the point versus a game like you were talking about Mafia or whatever. Like,
Sure.
if the whole point is deception
Yeah.
and trickery and all that, you
For
think
sure.
differently than
You could
Yeah,
say
don't cheat.
you cheated in chess.
Yeah, don't
or
cheat.
something.
But if there's a sense of
No, because the game show, the owner, the game show host is saying, "This is your money." He's telling
he's
you
not.
this is.
It's not even here's the money to split with everybody. He's like, you
No, it's
can
yours.
split it with you, but it is yours. You can
Yeah.
take all of it.
Yeah. yeah.
I'm
Wow.
sorry, I'm getting away from the fire a little bit. I'm kind of burning up over here. Anyway,
Yeah. I don't
We
know.
didn't come to a conclusion on
Yeah.
it, but it was
Wow. Well, another thing.
did I ruin the shot, James?
You're barely in the shot. You're
But
you're
I'm-
fine. I don't want
But
you
I'm
to
not
start
gonna
on
burn up.
fire.
No, exactly. I'm not going to spontaneously
great.
combust. So sorry, I messed up your shot. I put too
No,
much
you're
wood
good.
on this fire.
Our 30 video viewers are going to be so mad.
But
Jeff
they're
is-
getting a much better view of the fire, so
Yes.
that's going to make
Yeah.
up for it.
it's a good
You were
fire.
burning up over there. So, yeah, a thing happened last weekend. My son got married.
Yeah.
And that was, it's great. Great wedding.
Which
it was
one?
awesome. Beck. Beck got married to
Didn't we
Katie.
say we were going to get him to name one of his kids on a?
Now
you own
Oh, what?
Jake,
Oh.
you did it.
Dude, you just baited me into
Oh,
Pay it out.
I knew who got married.
Deception. Deception right there. It's all
That was-
part of the game.
Game show ethics.
Game show ethics right
Sign me
there.
up.
Well done.
Thanks. Now I owe one of my kids some money.
And I think the
in-laws get
integrity
it
thing
too.
to do would be to give me a percentage of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Jake gets a percentage. Now
I'll take
do
a
the-
quarter.
But if I name the spouses, do I have to pay them? That because we haven't
Yeah.
talked about that yet. You know,
I think it's not
So if
clear.
you get
You're-
named. But anyway, here's one thing that I wanted to hear you guys riff on a little bit. I'll kind of tee it up. Is I at the wedding? I mean, it was was awesome. I mean, it was worshipful. It was the person who did it just did awesome. No, I'm just kidding. I did the wedding. No, but there was a moment. It felt like a holy moment as they were worshiping, and Dalton and Carson were leading, and just the room was like, oh, this is wow. There was a sanctity, a sacredness to
For
it.
sure.
Like they talk about, marriage as a sacrament. I don't know if we would use those words to describe marriage, but the sacred moment. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. That there's a design, and you have this sense that you're living into something that God designed. So I'm experiencing it as I'm standing there, kind of taking it all in, and then the emotions of just your own kid that you raised, and that releasing, the letting go of them. That's different for a son than a daughter. Even it's like, yeah, they're off, and so anyway, the thought I had as I was looking around the reception, and people are hanging out and just talking, and you wish you could get to there's never enough time to get to every person and just thank them for their role in shaping Beck and Katie and these people. But then my thought walking out was like, this is the church. It felt like this is like this is my church. These are the people. It takes a village to raise a kid, Well, it takes a church. It takes this is so beautiful. And Jake, I remember your talk years ago on the church and the church's role. We've probably talked about it on this podcast, even about that. But the next day we had a welcome breakfast for new people coming into Veritas. And it just was a different weight as I was standing around looking at all these new people. And I was like, I want you to experience that moment of you have put in years, decades of your life and into the church. And it's for that. You have those moments.
Is it like a vision casting moment? Like in a membership class, it's like, look around the room. If you do this right, these are people that are going to be at your kids' weddings, like
wow,
kind of a call into a family. But
yeah, I didn't say it that way or that eloquently, but I think that was kind of I did say, like, come and raise your kids here, raise your family, like let this be your family.
Sure.
You want that.
Because that's a lot of pressure. You're looking around that room like, no.
Dude, I'm glad you said that out loud. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
with
maybe
family,
just have you? Yeah, that's such a compelling vision. Have you had those moments with your families or your kids where you've seen just the need for the local church as you've gone through? For your kids, not to mention yourself, and just the impact of being surrounded by such a great group of faithful community and people. And I think that was, so just the church kind of made me think about that. So I don't know. Do you remember anything from that talk? Like things that you brought out, just the need for the church and, making the church a priority and I don't remember I wonder if we have that. I would love to.
I think there's been a generation that has cared more about having their kids be experientially rich rather than relationally rich. So I got to give my kid as many experiences as possible. So they're going to be in karate and swimming and Little League and Boy Scouts and do all these. So you're just kind of trying to give them a lot of experience, but you're kind of like always in and out of everything. And you're not like entrenched in a community where they're relationally rich and they have other adults in their life that care about them and know them, and other like a bigger church family, which has a greater impact on their development than a ton of experiences they've had.
Wow.
I was thinking about how we've got clusters of Veritas Iowa City people I mean, this neighborhood that we're sitting in right now, there's a little cluster of Veritas families and all the young kids. And we live across from the park. So looking over and seeing 3-4 of those families all together and their kids playing in the park or whatever. And another one, there's 2 or 3 of these around town. And I was talking to a guy, he and his family live in another one of these little clusters. And he was like, man, sometimes I wonder, is that wrong? Should we be spreading out more? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's also like little mini cities on a hill, these neighborhoods where even some of the unbelieving neighbors around or whatever see the joy and the camaraderie of love and fellowship and breaking bread together, you know what I mean? And playing at the park together and are drawn in. And so
I've driven around your neighborhood. I think you're pretty safe from not having a takeover.
Well, I think that could be argued that's a strategic, living in this area is a strategic evangelism or missional decision for your own kids' sake.
Right.
Your own kids living in a neighborhood where they're able to interact or go to the park, growing up, knowing other Christian families.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool.
And we have these, neighborhood, like a breakfast crawl and some different things like that, and invite all the neighbors to jump in on, you know what I mean? So it's not like this little tight enclave that doesn't welcome others in, you know what I mean? So there is that for sure. I think it's a gift, to be able to say, man, my kids were raised down the street from great families that worship together.
Does as at your different seasons of life, as you've gone through life, do you feel like it's been harder at different stages to make church a priority? Because I've got whether it's, you think about the college students, through the whole seasons, teenager, college students, the excitement for Salt Company and being involved, and it's like you're constantly doing Salt stuff, and then you kind of get out and you see the newly marrieds and they're into connection groups, and it's some of our small group leaders that lead the newly married kind of groups, they always have the best groups because those people, they want to hang out, they're down for that, and then you start having kids, and then the kids get to the teenage years, and that's like such a challenge, and then we're getting into starting to leave the home. So I can't really speak to that stage, but you've been there. Do you think that it ever gets easier? Because for people that think, well, we're just in a season, I bet you could find people in your season, Jeff, that are like, they don't make church a priority.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%. Yeah.
That whole,
no, it's a soul commitment,
it's not a season of life thing.
Season of life, or that it's finally doable, whatever. No, it's always a commitment, you know what I mean? And not a dutiful commitment. It's a soulish commitment. It's like what you're talking about, Jake, just our relationships within the body of Christ a priority or not. Whatever you prioritize,
like every season has its excuse. It's like kids are young. It's tough getting them there.
Right.
Kids are a little bit older. They have sports activities. Kids are out of the house. We can finally travel more. Like whatever stage, there's always
because you're traveling to grandkids stuff, or we were going down south in the winter. Like it's always going to be something. But I do think the truth of it, and they did a dance where it was like, if you've been married all the married couples come out onto the dance floor, and if you've been married 5 years, okay, now you have to leave 10 years, and it keeps going up, and got way up into the like mid 50s. And my parents were the last ones on the dance floor, and it's just like, an old couple just out dancing by themselves. And I thought it's just, that's it. Like my dad's theme verse is Proverbs 3:3-4. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. And just the fruit of faithfulness lived out, and seeing, and everyone, and there's these moments of like extreme gratitude to God. I'm thinking about Beck and Katie, and just so thankful for him, for her. And you just have these moments of gratitude.
How did How'd Letha like the father or the mother-son dance? Because I just remember at Mo's wedding, Marcy was like, that was...
yeah, and being the
center
yeah, that
was just so funny because Marcy gets up on a stage, lights on, microphone in front of her.
Oh, no, I got this picture of her out there, and it's just like she's looking at me like, get me out of here.
So what? Wait, but how is that possible? What Jeff was saying?
Yeah,
the difference between she performs in front of
she doesn't dance. I mean, it's our own comfort zones, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
And she'll hate that she's learned to do it, but
that's hilarious.
I imagine
Letha, she was. Yeah, it was probably similar to Marcy. Didn't love it, but it was meaningful moment with her and Beck. She's poured in a lot to all of our kids, but each one in a different way. And that was a special moment. I also,
it's so funny though, because you guys, my wife, total opposite. Like her and Colin created this whole dance and it all of a sudden stopped. It was a nice kind of beautiful, and then went into this fast fun, get everybody on the dance floor. Teresa's like, well, come on.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Well, you have these moments of these moments in your life that are realizations of like, how I had this realization in high school and I remember writing it down in a little journal. And I was like, I will never regret the things I do for God, only the things I don't do. And so I just decided I want to try to live my life in a way that I don't have regrets. Like I'm going to do this thing for God. If it fails, like I probably would just have more regrets not doing it. And so you have these moments like the opposite of that, where you go through life and you see the outcome of doing the thing for God, and it's the opposite of a regret. It's it's a joy. It's like you see, I did this thing, and now, like 30 years later, I can see the result of it.
Yeah,
and so and it's interesting because I had a couple of conversations with people that had similar thoughts. So my dad was one. My dad came up to me and he's like, Mark, this reminds me of 50 years ago, it's just over 50 years ago that we had two kids. Those two kids were 3 years apart, and it was about 2 years later, and he said, my mom wanted to be done having kids, and my dad said, and she was like, I'm from a family of two. I 2 kids, and I think we're done. I think this is our family. And my dad's like, I think we need to have one more kid. And to the point of like, we need to have another kid. And so, more out of submission, my mom had another kid, and that was me, and he looked at me. He's like, look around, I'm amazed at that decision in life and how, and your life. And then, Dalton, we're sitting at the table, and he's like, dude, just, do you ever think like, man, we came to Iowa City and this never would have happened, and he's kind of reflecting on his own story and just like jumping into the church. But you have these moments like that where you look at your life and the decisions you made. And I mean, I don't know. Do you have points of your life where you feel that you feel like, dude, this could have gone, the joy of making a decision, the satisfaction, I guess, of a decision you made to follow Christ, and then you see it come out, the fruit of it years later. Another thing that happened related to this was, Micaiah gave my son gave the best man speech. Oh, Jake's pointing out, ding, ding,
cash
that one in. And it was like all about his relationship with Beck, and they went everywhere together and they're best buds, and they, Beck pulled him into his friend group or wherever he went, Micaiah wanted to go. And then for the last time he walked out of the house, and it was like Micah realized, I can't go where he's going now. Like we'll never, like he's got an adventure with a new person, and it's good, but there was the sadness for him, but the joy for Beck, all that. And I thought about the decision, like Letha was, you start out in small house, kids share rooms, as the family grows, as they outgrow the homes and whatever, we just all had them all in one room. And then, we got to a house where they could each have their own room. Well, maybe not every kid have their own room, but, we could split them up a little more. And like Letha's like, no, all the boys are going to sleep together. They're in the same room. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we went through the little toddler years of them screaming and waking each other up. We've got them, fits and the teen years, and one gets up early and turns on the lights and the other starts yelling at them because they stayed up late. It's the whole thing. But like they're in one bedroom. And in that moment, we kind of see the fruit of that decision. Mm-hmm. Like these boys are bonded together in a way that like is really cool and unique. So yeah, just seeing at the wedding, just seeing like these seeds of decisions grow up, Do you ever have moments like that where you feel like, or maybe a question is like, what's a decision you made, years ago that now you look back and you're just like in awe of what God did from that little decision or seed of faith that you put in the ground, or
there's a lot of family ones like you're describing, but I think more like life journey things. When we decided to move to LA to go to seminary, that seems like one of those. There were 1,000 times I could have and maybe even should have turned back from that decision. It seemed like the most ridiculous. Got one kid, she's pregnant with number 2, and a little old Ford Escort that's blowing blue, pollution out of the back. And so anyway, I'm just saying it totally changed the trajectory of our lives for the good. Grateful that the fear and insecurity and all that, we kept going and did that. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of things more personal, I guess, with children and all that, but that life trajectory,
getting that Escort and head out west. It was really cool because we were on the fire porch on Saturday with Ryan, who's heading to California. Yeah. And you and Dale and my dad, all guys in, 60s and dads in 70s, you guys speaking into his life about this move out west.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Like you saying, we literally did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We went down the exact highway you're gonna, you're gonna go down, and
yep.
And what would you say to, I don't know, what was your message to him?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was just go, not to be reckless or foolish, but don't wait for the right spot or the right apartment or house to rent or whatever. Just get there and then watch God start unfolding the story from there. Just don't worry. Like I ran out there one time, got my job, got the apartment, got everything. Teresa was even with me. Like we knew that was the destiny. We had to get there. Right. So just did it and just leapt, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, God unfolded the rest of the story from that point, So just, I mean, it's not terribly profound. It's kind of like diving off the diving board. Just get there, just go. Don't overthink it. You know what I mean? And once you know that that's the destination, I'm saying, then it's that Hebrews 11:6 things. God's going to reward those who earnestly seek him. The reward is going to come as you keep taking those steps of faith, and you won't be able to see very far down that path. It's a lot of scary steps to go.
Is there a principle there that applies to just young people making decisions of faith? Like,
oh yeah,
don't wait for all the answers before you make a decision on something. Like sometimes you have to.
For sure. And I think part of that also is freeing your life up so that you can make those kind of decisions. Things like a huge amount of debt. Like, had we had debt, we couldn't have possibly made that kind of decision. You know what I mean? Like, we could make a decision that was risky, that was going to be take a lot once we get, but we weren't carrying the burdens from bad decisions from a decade before that. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, if you want to be nimble and be able to be agile and quick to make some seemingly impulsive but God-centered decisions, prepare day by day to be the kind of person that can do that. Don't handcuff yourself too much, you know? So,
wow. So don't take on a lot of debt.
And we literally were, in poverty every day we were out there. But I'll never forget driving away from LA, having completed a whole, MDiv degree and everything, but debt free, and just looking in the rear view, literally looking in the rear view with just such deep gratitude. Like, that was those years were a season of life that I wouldn't trade for anything. We had almost nothing in our pockets, but nor were we encumbered with that season of life either. It was just such a joy to be able to say, thank you, God. Now what's next? Now what's around the next corner,
Yeah.
So
cool. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like there's several. The one that probably comes to mind the clearest is leaving football to go into ministry. There's so much like, what am I doing?
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
Did the same thing. I love that football career.
But
sorry, Jake.
To walk away from something you've just been a dream and is in a good position to jump into this new endeavor and just seeing God's faithfulness. Sometimes, people that, have known me for a long time, mostly Marcy, there's still moments where we look at each other and it's like, do you believe I'm a pastor? It's like, no.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, it is comical. It is that God has just been faithful in opening doors and giving me great opportunities.
What about the decision to move from Phoenix to Iowa?
Every move has been, I've been in a situation where I've been blessed that I've always left a good situation. So it's from going from Manchester to Phoenix. Manchester was a wonderful situation. Coming to Phoenix to Iowa. Phoenix was a wonderful situation. So those are scary moments where it's like, you're not just like, this job is bad. It's like, no, it's great. It's, and to feel like God's calling you to something and see his faithfulness and leaving something that's comfortable and good is, it's been a challenge and you see his faithfulness every time.
Yeah, it's good. Well, what's something you guys have been, one question is, so this morning I read Psalm 19. It just talks about the word of God it's a greater treasure than gold. And it says, by them your servant is warned, by keeping them there's great reward. What from God's word has been stirring in you recently? Maybe another way to ask it is, what have you been preaching on lately? How is God's word, guiding you, guiding your church? I feel in going through Luke and just looking at the life of Christ and I'm, into sermon prep mode right now on Luke 13, the end of it. But I was just thinking about how special, like how God's word is, what a treasure it is, and how it's, so I was just wanting you to share some stuff that God's been, maybe stuff you preached on recently that you feel like, man, this is, been at work in my heart. So yeah.
Jake, start us off. Where do you?
Well, we're in 1 John as a church, so that's both wrecking me and encouraging me. It's
what's the wrecking and encouraging?
Well, it feels like John is trying to make liars in the church feel uncomfortable and genuine Christians feel more assured and confident. And there's a sense where I think in a healthy way, you have to take a hard look at yourself and like, do I see genuinely the work of God in my life, and am I following him? And in not a scary, doubtful way, but an honest way. And that's been great. We're just getting into this week on worldliness, do not love the world. And like, that's
Are you so you're preaching this weekend on that?
Yeah.
What's your, where are you going with that?
Well, I think one of the things that's helpful in working through a book.
What's the passage, by the way? Is
2,
that
15, 16, and 17. So we got those 3 verses. You basically have a command and then 3 incentives. So the command is do not love the world. Then don't love the world because if you do, the love of God's not in you. Don't love the world because it's passing away. And don't love the world because love God, you'll abide with him forever. So there's like command and 3 incentives. Basically, don't love the world. It's unacceptable and it's foolish. It's not compatible with love for God. And why would you? It's passing away. So that's the case he's making. But then he gets in there. It's like, the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, the pride of life. So he's put some categories on that. But it's been eye-opening, like studying a book of the Bible. You kind of see things more in the flow of his talk. And I'm like, how do we see 1 John 2, 15, 16, and 17 in light of everything he said before this that seems to be this high call and promotion of fellowship with one another, love for one another? Like, what's the connection between holiness and community? And I think one illustration that's given, you were referring to your boys earlier that grew up, sharing the same room. And there's times where it's like, it seems like they're brothers and they're always fighting. They're not acting like brothers but I bet you would experience, as soon as those brothers have a common enemy, there's unity there, right?
Right.
And I think oftentimes there's, this is going to come across wrong, but I think if you can explain it, it makes sense. There's weak fellowship in the church because we don't have a strong enough shared hate. Like when we feel like, when we have the same common enemy, not like we hate the world together, not in a way where we get together and gripe about the world, but we're together trying to genuinely live for Christ and not the world. That's what bonds that fellowship. So trying to see this call to not love the world and its connection to fellowship. Because if you go to church and it's like, these are my people, but it's like, but I think you are giving in to the desires of the flesh. That doesn't create this bond where it's like, we're in this together.
How do you navigate the mutual enemy becomes a division? Because one person sees it as an enemy and one person doesn't. Or so the example of this last weekend was related to the Super Bowl halftime show. It's like we have our annual.
I was hoping we'd go through this whole episode
without getting there. And I'm not going to mention any artists or anything, but just it's like I can set my watch to the awkward moment of the halftime show. I mean, going back, this is decades long.
Yeah.
This isn't like a new thing, but where it's like, what do we do with this? It's back when I'm a youth pastor. I remember the one of the worst ever halftime shows where there was a
wardrobe
malfunction was in Jeff Dodge's
Our house.
living room. I'm the youth pastor.
I'm the pastor. Oh, my word.
Hosting this, we're having this Super Bowl party for our little youth
So
group.
ridiculous.
And the halftime show and everyone's watching. And you're just trying to, come on.
Yeah.
What do we do? And so then it's like, so the mutual enemy, it's like, you saw, it was just a whole, like, all the culture war stuff comes out,
Sure.
and it's like, we hate this, and wait, you don't hate this, so now we're divided because we don't have like.
I think the fear of conflict has led churches to try to build fellowship on the lowest common denominator of Christianity, and it's just not that sweet of fellowship. So it's like, oh, you love Jesus, I love Jesus, we're good, and it's like, but then it feels like you have the pride of life, and so you just don't feel bonded. So like when Jesus gives the analogy of the broad road and the narrow road, you're going to be close with people on the narrow road because it's narrow. There's not that many,
Right.
So I think there's tension. Like, are we traveling the same direction? Like, do we care about, and John doesn't go into specifics, but he does give categories of, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and trying to flush that out of like, are we on the same team? Are we both passionate for a life that honors Christ? Because if we are, we can work through those things because we have the same, we're heading the same direction. And I think when you try to just, let's not go any place that might cause division, is another way of saying, let's keep fellowship just pretty mediocre. Let's never like get to a deeper fellowship.
For our fellowship to be deep, we have to have a shared hatred for the world. And is that,
John's saying
one
that
person like,
he's saying, if you love the world, the love of the Father's not in you. That's a tough statement.
Can you define, can we bring love of the world down the ladder of abstraction to something specific where it's like, we both saw this thing, you hated it, and you kind of were entertained by it. So does that,
I think if you work in the categories he's given of, the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, the pride of life, there's a sense of, okay, are you living for the world's approval? Are you living for the world's rewards? Are you afraid of its end? Because the gospel confronts all of those. You don't need the world's approval. You're in the family of God. You don't need the world's rewards. You're a fellow heir with Christ. You don't have to fear the end of this world. We promise the next. So I think assessing some of those heart motives.
That's such a good, I love that you stayed there, because when you start to get specific, it starts, the more specific in defining worldliness that you get, you end up like with the Amish community dilemma. Like,
sure,
of course we have rules about that.
Yeah, but I do think in a community we do sharpen each other in getting more specific. Yeah, if it's like if you're called not to love the world, it's like, that's not to say that you can't have money, but you can't love money more than God. You can't serve two masters. So it's not like you can't, whatever it may be, but it can't be over God. And if we see that in each other and we address it, it strengthens fellowship, clarifies it. So I do think there are places where we do have to get specific in, is this getting lived out or not?
I just heard this morning, Al Mohler on the Daily Briefing was talking about the argument over, he was talking about the name of the Pride movement. And it's just like, it's amazing that it's called Pride.
Yeah.
Because that's how we got into this, it was Pride. But then he's like, but in church, maybe circles or church history, even there's a question of which was the greater sin. Which is the root of all sins? Is it pride or is it lust? And it's interesting that he starts with the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride in one's possessions, or the boastful pride of life.
Because there's a parallel with that to Satan's appeal in Genesis 3 with the, she saw that the fruit was good, she desired, And then also with the temptations of Christ, kind of same kind of appeals to our own sinful cravings, our own things that we take in by our eyes. And
you want more, what would you like? What's the difference between lust of the flesh and lust of the eyes?
I would say the lust of the flesh speaks to like the corruption of sin, our cravings. Like I need you to like me. I need to be, approved of. I need whatever, those kind of cravings. And the lust of the eyes is coveting, like the things that I see that I want. Like you hear the comment, like feast your eyes, it's kind of like,
Man,
more of a coveting thing. And it's interesting because I think the first two are how you act when you don't have something. And the last one is how you act when you do have something. So it's the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes. It's like, I don't have it, I want it. And the other one, pride of life, I have it, I'm arrogant because I have it.
Wow. I think, what would repentance look like? This is a major, that is a strong word. And may God give you
now, and how you flush that out without dipping into legalism and just, but yet,
let me tell you what worldliness is. If you came in with a car over this amount.
When you get like really specific, I've
seen your cars. Right?
I'm just so afraid that we so don't want to fall in that ditch that we're like living over here. And the consequence of that is not the depth of fellowship that we're called to in the like-mindedness in our pursuit of Christ. So how do you...
I think it's really hard to unravel the sin of a extravagant lifestyle. This is where I think why I love, it's just easier to disciple college students than middle-aged people. Because once you head down a path of the American dream and you got it all. You have the possessions that he's talking about. It's really hard to repent and undo some of that. I don't know. What would you say about that?
I actually was just thinking of so I don't know if this is answering that or not, but here's where my mind was going, is that trilogy of evil or whatever that he's describing, that's pretty comprehensive, and I mean, you just threw the Super Bowl, so I'm going to throw this one out there. The Epstein file things. Here's what is the shocker to me, is the spectrum of people who are named in those things. So and the fact that it is both money, but also coupled with power, coupled with just lust, eyes. Wow. And it just, that's when you were just saying, it goes back to Genesis 3. It goes back to the temptation of Jesus. Satan has this same kind of trio.
Doesn't have a deep playbook.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so when you see that, you're just like, holy cow, these are in whatever different sphere of influence, whether it was political, business, whatever their thing was that got them attracted into this orbit of debauchery. Those three things somehow came together and took down even people that you would think, what next level did you need to go to that you thought you needed to go to the private island of this one? You know what I'm saying? Like it's shocking how there's never like an end. If you go down that 1 John path, there's no satisfying it. You just have to keep going deeper and deeper down those trails. And we're seeing that right now. And I hope it grips all of us with fear. Like there's never a point where your heart is satisfied. If you're not satisfied with what you have, what you see, your whatever, you will never be. And it will take you to the deeper, darker places,
So the dark trilogy of the money, power, sexual, money, power, sex. It's
totally,
it will. How do you then, because you see this, I mean, this is one of the whole reasons for this podcast, is the disadvantage of above average, the disadvantage of having all of those things is that you stop needing God and you start getting to
your cravings just become more profound. They become more gaping. Because now you can actually figure out a way to satisfy those cravings at a deeper level. But that also just brings another yawning cavity of need. You know what I mean? So you just keep like now you look at some of the things that went on, through that horrific place, and you're just shocked at the level of it.
Yeah.
But all of us have those choices every single day to start either feeding those that.
So if it's the Average Pastors podcast, so we're pastors in this, and they say prosperity is a tough test to pass, and we live in the most prosperous country in the world in probably human history. You see the disadvantages of above average or prosperity. How do you pastor when that's the threat facing ourselves and our people every day?
Well, the first thing is the example that we set is how do I live in a place of prosperity, and that's where I come back to. I think we need Zambia in our lives more than they need us. And I love that you're going to be getting on a plane in the fall. Is it or May? May. Okay,
first,
a couple months. You guys are going to be there, and I just think it recalibrates gets your feet back on reality. It's the opposite. If you could think of like, what's the exact opposite of what a powerful, money, sex hungry leader would do? He would go to a private island and exploit. What's the very opposite of that? That's what you guys are doing. You're going to the poorest place with orphans that you're serving and loving, and those staying grounded in.
And those are extreme. I think they serve as good warnings. Like, I don't think we got anybody that's perhaps in our congregations that's flying to private islands to like that extreme example of it. And it's interesting that the Bible uses relational language in talking about sin, like we've committed adultery against God. Or even, friendship with the world is enmity towards God. Do not love the world. Where when you think of like having an affair, it just kind of, nobody like sets out for that. It just kind of happens with like, it was some, inside jokes at work, turned into a lunch, turned into this. I'm more worried about looking at people and just like, I just kind of got hooked on this show, and I always listen to this music, and I read this book. And like, at what point do you lift your head up and be like, I think I've gotten a little too friendly with the world. Like, I think I'm starting to like really enjoy this relationship with worldly values. And now my heart's being pulled. Like, I really want to be accepted by that group. And I really want this house. And and it's just like these cravings I have and coveting. And then, I have it. Now I feel my security in that. Like, it's really subversive or not subversive. Like,
so that I'm so glad because when you asked what passages, it's actually not one I'm teaching, although Luke has 1,000% rocked my world, even over these last weeks, whether I'm teaching it or being taught. It's been amazing. But a couple days ago, my Bible reading was John 21. And it's that beautiful moment, again, that we've even talked about, I think, on this podcast of, rather than it being this glorious ascension, the way he closes out the gospel, glorious ascension and Great Commission thing, it's Jesus cooking breakfast for his friends, right? And so, but the thing that really stuck out to me that reminds me of this moment we're having right now is he does all that, right? He welcomes them onto the shore, allows them to get this big catch of fish and then fries some fish up for him. And it's this beautiful moment. And then he singles out Peter. He's like, Peter, do you love me? And that 3 times comes back at him and feed my sheep, shepherd my sheep. And I was thinking about, well, that's also friendship. Like this trio of guys right here, we love to come to the fire porch. We love to, you with your tea, us with our coffee. We love those moments of just enjoying friendship. And then right along with that is, are you guys really loving Jesus? Are you like that prodding? Because that 1 John, that temptation has been true since Genesis 3. It's true in our lives. And the only way average pastors can stay connected vitally to the vine is to have friendship that constantly we're goading each other, yes, to enjoy the friendship, but also having hard conversations and going back to the same base, power, money, sex. What are those things doing in your lives right now? And that I'm grateful that even after these mics are gone and we're not being recorded, those are the conversations. We're having tons of laughs and everything, but we're also serious about each other, loving Jesus Christ and making sure that he is the one that we love preeminently. And those three things from 1 John aren't getting a fresh
and don't you think that's,
hold on us?
That's part of the deepening of fellowship when it's like, oh, I know you'll call me on my crap.
Yeah.
That's not like, oh, that hurts our relationship. It actually deepens it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just love that moment. I hadn't really focused on that part as being so connected to the breakfast is Jesus so pointedly looking just one of them in the eyes and calling him out 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought, no, that's not actually
right. Jesus, you're making this breakfast awkward. Why'd you have to bring
totally. Like that's all part of that same moment. You know, they're listening to the fire crack, you know, and the sizzling, and then all of a sudden, you know.
I think this is connected to this. What I'm thinking about in the sermon I have this week on Luke, the end of Luke 13, and basically it goes something like this. Well, last week Drake Epkiss, by the way, just incredible message. Yeah. It somehow it seems like every time Drake preaches one of those like defining messages, but this one I thought Jesus is talking about the narrow road. He's like, make every effort. Broad is the road that leads to destruction. Many enter that. Make every effort to enter through the narrow gate. And Drake used this illustration. He's like, I want to take you back to, February of 1807, North Dakota. Some guys are sitting around in their tent. They're on an expedition, and basically it was the Lewis and Clark journey. And what the quote was, Lewis and Clark are constantly having to get these guys like moving and getting out of the tent and away from the fire because we gotta stay on the move. And the quote was in the one of their journals was, an idle soldier is a bored soldier headed for trouble. And so that was kind of the big idea of like an idle Christian is a bored Christian headed for trouble. And he talked about the idea of the effort, like you got to get out of your tent and we're on a journey. Like we're not going to camp out here in North Dakota. We gotta
the
move.
tension I'm seeing in 1 John that I love because there's so much like, I want you to know, I want you to have assurance, I want you to like have confidence, but also met with, if you keep practicing sin, the love of and I think sometimes my concern is in our effort to try to make people feel a level of comfort in the finished work of Christ, have we produced complacency in them in the Christian life? And we should have comfort, but our comfort should lead to complacency. And sometimes I'm concerned, it's like, does it come across like, because we don't want to be legalist, is what it comes across as like, you don't need to go to church. You don't need to read your Bible. You don't need to confess your sins. And it's like, that's not the message. So I'm wrestling.
Yeah. And I think the solution is for you. I mean, it's your illustration of what it's not getting down in the weeds of all the rules. And so now, Veritas, here's the handbook on how you love the world is if you do this, you love the world. If you watch the halftime, you love the world. If it's like, no, the solution is a greater treasure. It's your God the prize thing, and so just how you overcome, like, how would Eve have overcome her love of the tree of knowledge and good and evil? Just walking with the Lord. It's you've got total access to a relationship with God and
having a husband that might have said something in that moment. That would have been helpful.
Right.
How about not? How about we don't do that? I remember something that was told to me before you were made. Let's
go back to that.
Let's go back to
Jake, I need your help on I need some help on my sermon. because it's still pretty doughy, and it's just got put in the oven yesterday. And
half-baked cookies are the
half-baked.
best
Okay,
kind.
here's what I need. You're a wordsmith with this kind of stuff. You're good with it. So the text is where Jesus, he's like, look at Luke 13. He just a real quick synopsis of this text is Jesus is headed for Jerusalem. Okay, so Luke 13:31. So some Pharisees come and are like, "Hey, Herod wants to kill you," and he says, "Go tell that fox, look, I'm driving out demons and performing healings today and tomorrow, and on the third day I will complete my work." And basically, and yet it is necessary that I travel today, tomorrow, and the next day, because it's not possible for a prophet to perish outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent. How often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing. See, your house is abandoned to you. I tell you, you will not see me again until the time comes when you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So, okay.
Wait, read the next 14 verses and see if Jake can also cover my text for the following week. Just keep reading.
This is where this is how the sausage is made. The sermon prep.
No wonder your daughter doesn't give you a thank you.
You didn't even do that. You just go to Jake writes your sermons. Okay, so here's where I need your help, Jake. Is so he's basically, they're saying, Jesus, you better get out of here. Herod's going to kill you. And he doubles down on Herod. He's like, and this is I think it's the only time in any of the Gospels where Jesus says, like a mean thing about a leader. Mean is not the right word, but he calls him a fox. Like, he basically is kind of, it's cunning, but it's also worthless. Like, it's like a king would be a great lion, and referring to Herod as a fox, he's like, oh, he's nobody. He's worthless. He's crafty, but he can't do anything. And he says, I've got work to do today and tomorrow. And then the third day, it's like, it's going to get ugly. And then he says, I'm going to Jerusalem and they're going to kill me there. I'm not afraid of Herod. I'm going to Jerusalem. I'm going to die there. Like, what a weird way to, someone's warning you about a threat and you're like, I'm headed right toward death. And Herod can't touch me. I'm not worried about him. And then he kind of weeps over Jerusalem, or has that moment of, man, I wanted to save you. And so you see his compassion, you see he's fixed on his mission. He's got this purpose that is just, his face is set like flint toward Jerusalem, and nothing's going to deter him. And he doesn't care about Herod. Who's a very powerful person. And in the beginning of the chapter, Luke 13, it's Pilate who mixed the blood of those Gentile or whatever with the sacrifices. And it's like these two powerful people, Jesus is like, his purpose and mission just is everything. And okay, so here's my question. So I want to like maybe pick it up where Drake left off last week. An idle Christian is a bored Christian headed for trouble. Like, so flip that around for Jesus now. If Jesus is the model of the opposite of that, he's not in his tent cowering in fear that it's scary out there. We got to cross the Rockies. We're going to die. He's like, oh, I'm going there. I'm headed right for Jerusalem. So an idle Christian is a bored Christian headed for trouble. I was thinking of, how would you spin that around?
The opposite.
A purposeful Christian is a bold Christian headed for, like, what would you replace those words with if you're thinking about it putting it in a positive Jesus spin on it? Like, not the negative, but the positive of those things.
So he did idle, bored, trouble. Is that what, or is it bored, idle?
Yeah, I think it was idle. Yeah, an idle Christian bored, is a bored Christian headed for trouble. So, because he is kind of like, I was thinking, a purposeful Christian. Something about this idea of Jesus knowing his mission, like a purposeful Christian is a bold Christian, like his disregard for Herod and is like, I'm going and I'm courage. I'm going to heal and I'm doing my ministry.
Mhm.
I'm going to keep healing today and tomorrow and driving out demons. And then on the third day,
Yeah.
like it's going to be over soon, but I'm going to keep going is what he's saying. So,
Is
Yeah.
he still headed for trouble?
right.
But
That's what I'm
intentionally-
saying.
It'd be
is-
like
is it still
an active Christian is a zealous Christian headed for glory. I mean, I think where I'm not. What was the original quote?
an idol.
Yeah, not idle. I'm
bored,
active. I'm living out my faith. I'm not bored. I have zeal for the Lord. I'm not headed for trouble. I'm headed for glory. That's the.
So
But
that's
the crazy thing
that's
is Jesus actually is headed for trouble in the sense of,
Yeah.
like he says, I'm not worried about Herod. I tell you what I'm going to do, whether Herod is stomping around or not. I got 2 more days of healing and driving out demons.
And then I'm
that
gonna
is
die.
what I'll do. And when it's time, I am going to get killed.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
then it
you
ends
know.
with you won't see me again until.
you
I
say,
shut my
blessed
mouth.
is he who comes in the
Yes,
name of the
yes,
Lord.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
Right.
that's
Totally.
the trajectory of
Yeah.
right. You still might be headed for earthly trouble,
Right.
but
Headed.
glory.
Can you
But ultimately
be? Can you
glory,
be
yeah.
headed for earthly trouble and heavenly glory?
Yeah.
In
I
fact,
mean,
I would probably say the trajectory of heavenly glory is earthly trouble.
Right.
It's not can you. That's the, expect it is the message.
So it kind of ties into what you're talking about, just the worldliness. I think of the comfort of the world, the staying in the tent.
That's a
idol.
wonderful illustration.
Yeah, and then he connected it to in his passage, the banquet. How he says, he talks about Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets. They will come from the east, west, from the north and south to share the banquet in the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And just Jesus is motivating them with.
Do you ever feel like there's just completely different conversations from the biblical authors in today where, we're trying to say like, well, can I do this, and this and still be a Christian? And John's like, the love of the Father's not in you. Like that question doesn't even make sense. It's not whether you can or can't. Why would you want to? Like, sure, we have an advocate, but it's like that question's confusing. Like we enter this new conversation and it kind of
you put it in the context of your marriage. Like, can I still
right
have, can I still have an affair with these other? How
like
many people?
How far can I go till I upset my wife? I want to have. Do you care if I go in the next room and watch some porn? Like, is that going to bother you? Like, what can I do? Like,
and you would say the love of Marcy is not in you,
right? And
it's
I think
it doesn't make sense. That's
right.
it.
And Marcy be like, this is the completely weird conversation. Well, it doesn't.
Right.
The love of me is not. Yeah, I think that.
So is the solution to the love? It is just the love of the Father. That's the burning, when the burning passion of your life is a zeal for the Father, a zeal for the Lord.
But and that's what the hard part. And I know we're in different places. The hard part is John is confronting people because he repeats this phrase. You say you walk in the light, but you do this. You say. So what do you do with people? It's like, no. I know you say you love Jesus, but we got to get practical because your profession and your practice don't line up. So that's the tough part where John's dealing with people. Yeah, they say they love Jesus.
You know what's interesting? I've experienced this. Some of our best weed out of, you've talked about this. Like, do we always talk about church growth, and when do we talk about church shrinking? And some people recently, someone made the comment like, I feel like Veritas gets so close. Do you ever have literally ask someone kind of that same question? Do you guys ever have like church shrinking weekends or messages? And because they wanted more of a, I think they wanted more of a,
just
like,
make everybody mad or
more of a political thing, edge to it. And they were like, And the comment was like,
You were
know,
like, yeah, we're about to have one right now. Let's have this conversation.
this is a
Yes.
weed out. No, so that's where
Yeah.
I'm going with this is some of our best church shrinking stuff. It has happened from sermons. Like there are a couple people that stopped coming because they were mad about some things that were said recently. But some of our best church shrinking has happened in when we get people in home groups and get them talking about stuff like this. Like, why don't you go after the people on the other side of the political thing? And we're like, and why don't you, the church shrinking stuff? And you're like, oh, sweet. Yeah, we do the church shrink. We think of it in terms of what we preach, but often it's in those conversations like, oh, I don't think you understand what we're about. Like we're about to have a church shrinking thing. And I don't know that Veritas is the church for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of along those lines of, when you get in people's lives and you see you say you love God, but you're living with this person who's not your
Right. You address those things relationally.
yes,
pastorally.
yes, right? Because those people can hear these sermons and go get them, Jake. And then it's in the discipleship where you find out, I don't think the love of the Father is in you. I mean,
Hey, I do got to say, I'm on a family note. My granddaughter was born yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exciting.
Jake,
She came
Holy
like
cow. You waited till this moment? Dude, we're like an hour and a half into this podcast. You're
talking about the
finally-
Bible. I was like,
Oh my word. We're
Yeah,
talking about the Super Bowl
amazing.
and you
how many things? How many?
congratulations.
yeah,
man.
she was like a couple weeks early, so it was a little bit of a surprise.
Wow.
What's her name?
Georgia Jean.
Ah, gotcha.
Oh.
Jake, do you have to pay out?
No, I don't have to pay out.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
they're
beautiful.
doing well.
so
She's a little
awesome.
tiny thing.
Oh, so this is your second grandchild.
Yep, first girl.
That's so great.
Blessings on the
That's awesome.
each
Work.
tribe.
It's fun.
That's beautiful.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that is awesome. Well, praise God for that. So as we sign off, Jeff, we'll let you have the last word. Do you have a good word to wrap this time up?
Well, the good word
Speak
for
over
me
us.
right now is that I'm going to be able to get away from this fire. I'm like at 140 degrees over here in my chair. So no. Just I'm grateful for the friendship, you guys. Grateful that things like even the First John. I haven't gotten to First John yet in my Bible reading plan. So being able to not only have that read over us, but poke a little bit at us. I'm grateful for friendship. I hope everybody out there find some friends that don't just do fun activities. You both share the same interests, but you stir each other. You provoke each other toward love and good deeds, So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
glad I have it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited. We'll do another. We got another episode coming. A lot more fun conversations to have. But thanks for joining us. If you're still listening, thank you. Thanks for joining the conversation. Hope you have a great week. And we'll see you
James
next
is
time.
watching listeners.
Yeah.
Burning up.